I'm Haley, 25 years old, and 2 weeks ago, I almost died alone in my apartment while my entire family was celebrating my twin sister's birthday party, a party I wasn't invited to. When the paramedic asked me for my emergency contacts, I laughed. I don't have any. But then he looked at me strangely and said, "Ma'am, your sister is the one who called this in, and she told us something very different." That sentence changed everything, because what Harper told them wasn't just different. It was a lie designed to make sure I'd never wake up to tell my side. Before I take you back to where this all began, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story truly resonates with you. And drop a comment. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there? Now, let me bring you back 4 weeks earlier, the day my grandmother collapsed. The call came at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was shelving books in the children's section at Millbrook Public Library when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. "Miss Parsons, this is Mercy General Hospital. Your grandmother, Eleanor Whitmore, was brought in by ambulance. She's had a stroke." The floor tilted beneath me. I don't remember grabbing my coat. I don't remember driving. I just remember running through those sterile white hallways until I found her room. Grandma looked so small in that hospital bed. Tubes everywhere, monitors beeping. Her silver hair spread across the pillow like a halo she'd earned after 78 years of kindness. I pulled a chair close and took her hand. It was cold. I held it anyway. She was the only one who ever held mine. Every Sunday for the past 6 years, I'd driven 40 minutes to her house. We'd make lemon cookies. She'd tell me stories about Grandpa. She'd ask if I was eating enough, sleeping enough, living enough. "You remind me of him," she always said. "You love quietly, Haley, but you love deeply. Don't let anyone tell you that's weakness." My mother never visited. Too busy. Harper never visited. Too important. But I came. Every single week. The doctor appeared in the doorway, young, tired, clipboard in hand. "She's stable for now," he said. "But she's in a coma. We don't know when, or if, she'll wake up." I nodded. Couldn't speak. "Is there family we should contact?" "I'll call them." I sat there alone for 30 minutes before anyone else arrived. 30 minutes of holding her hand, whispering that I was here, that she wasn't alone. I didn't know then that I'd be the one who ended up alone. The click of heels announced my mother before I saw her. Victoria Parsons swept into the room like she owned it. Designer bag. Perfect blowout. Face arranged in what she probably practiced as concerned daughter. Harper trailed behind her, phone in hand, already texting someone. My twin sister. Same face, same birthday, completely different life. Dad followed last. Greg Parsons, quiet as always. He glanced at me, then looked away. "How long have you been here?" Mom didn't hug me. Didn't ask if I was okay. "About 30 minutes. She walked past me to Grandma's bedside, studied the monitors like she understood them. "Has the doctor said anything about her prognosis?" "She's in a coma. They don't know when she'll wake up." Harper finally looked up from her phone. "Oh, you're here? I thought you'd be too sick to come." The words landed like a slap. Delivered with a sweet smile, of course. Harper's specialty. "I'm fine." "Are you, though?" She tilted her head. "You look tired, pale. You should take better care of yourself." Mom cut in before I could respond. "Haley, go get us coffee. We need to talk to the doctor privately." I stood there for a moment, waiting for Dad to say something. He didn't, so I left. But I didn't go far. I stopped just outside the door, pretending to check my phone. Through the gap, I heard Mom's voice, low, urgent. "Has she said anything? About her will?" My blood went cold. Grandma was lying there, possibly dying, and Mom's first concern was money. I walked to the vending machine on shaking legs. I didn't know then, but that question would cost them everything. My apartment that night felt smaller than usual. 600 square feet. 1 bedroom. A kitchen the size of a closet. I'd decorated it with thrift store finds and plants I talked to when I got lonely. Harper's penthouse downtown had floor-to-ceiling windows and a doorman who knew her name. I sat on my second-hand couch, staring at my phone. The family group chat was active for the first time in months. Mom had typed, "Family meeting tomorrow, 10 a.m., my house, regarding mother's care. Then Harper, I'll be there. Already cleared my schedule. No one asked if the time worked for me. No one ever did. I scrolled up through old messages, months of silence, then occasional photos of Harper's achievements, her promotion, her boyfriend, her weekend trips. I wasn't in any of them. I opened my nightstand drawer, the one with the important things, my passport, my birth certificate, and a letter. The envelope was yellowed, the handwriting shaky. Grandma had given it to me 3 years ago, during one of our Sunday visits. Keep this safe, she'd said. Someday when I'm gone, a man named Mr. Bennett will find you. He's my attorney. He'll explain everything. I'd asked what she meant. She just smiled and changed the subject. I never pushed. Maybe I should have. I read the letter again now, searching for clues. My dearest Haley, if you're reading this, things have probably gotten complicated. I want you to know that I see you. I've always seen you, and I've made sure you'll be taken care of no matter what your mother tries to do. Trust Mr. Bennett, he knows the truth. All my love, Grandma. I folded it carefully and put it back. Who was Mr. Bennett, and what truth was Grandma hiding? I arrived at Mom's house at exactly 10 a.m. The living room was already arranged like a courtroom. Mom in the armchair, her throne. Harper on the love seat, legs crossed, coffee in hand. Dad in the corner, invisible as always. I took the only empty seat, a wooden dining chair someone had dragged in. Uncomfortable, probably intentional. Now that we're all here, Mom began, we need to discuss Mother's care. The hospital is asking about medical proxy. I can do it, I said. I visit her every week. I know her doctors, her medications, That won't be necessary. Mom's smile didn't reach her eyes. We've decided Harper will be her medical proxy. She's more stable. Harper nodded like this was obvious. I have a flexible schedule, and honestly, Haley, you can barely take care of yourself with your allergies. My allergies have nothing to do with, remember last Thanksgiving? Harper's voice dripped with false concern. You had a reaction and ruined dinner. Everyone had to leave early. I ate something I didn't know contained tree nuts. That wasn't... The point is, Mom cut in, we need someone reliable. It's decided. I looked at Dad. He was studying his shoes. Fine. The word tasted like ash. Good. Mom stood, meeting adjourned. Oh, and Harper's birthday party is next Saturday. We're keeping it small, family only. I waited. Nothing. Harper caught my eye and smirked. Just slightly, just enough. What about my birthday? I asked. It's the same day. Mom waved a hand. You never like parties anyway. All that food you can't eat. It's easier this way. I drove home in silence. 25 years of being the afterthought. 25 years of being the difficult one. I was tired. So tired. But I didn't know yet that tired was the least of my problems. The package arrived Friday evening. I was making dinner, plain grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, nothing that could trigger a reaction, when the doorbell rang. No one was there, just a pink box on my doormat, tied with a silver ribbon. I brought it inside, confused. Checked the card. Happy 25th, sis. Sorry I've been distant lately. Here's something sweet for you. Enjoy your day tomorrow. Harper. My first instinct was to throw it away, but I opened the box anyway. Cupcakes. 6 of them, beautifully decorated with vanilla frosting and edible flowers. They looked expensive, professional. The label said Sweet Beginnings Bakery, the nut-free place I'd mentioned loving years ago. The only bakery I trusted. I stared at them for a long time. Part of me, the logical part, screamed that this was suspicious. Harper had never apologized for anything. Why start now? But another part, the part that still remembered us as kids, before everything went wrong, that part whispered, what if she's trying? What if the party snub was Mom's idea and Harper felt guilty? I hated that part of me, the part that still wanted my sister to love me. I set the box on the counter, decided to sleep on it. Maybe I'd throw them away in the morning. But by morning, loneliness won. Maybe. I set the cupcake down, decided to save them for tomorrow. My birthday. Our birthday. If I couldn't celebrate with family, at least I'd have cake. I put the box on my kitchen counter and went back to my boring, safe dinner, but something nagged at me. I picked up the card again, looked at the handwriting. Harper's handwriting was always sharp, confident, like her. This was shaky, almost nervous. Probably just wrote it in a hurry, I told myself. I took a photo of the cupcakes, almost posted it to Instagram. Something stopped me. That night, I dreamed of Grandma. She was trying to tell me something, but I couldn't hear her. She kept pointing at my kitchen, at the pink box, but no sound came out. I woke up at 3 a.m., heart racing. I should have listened. November 14th, my 25th birthday. I woke up to silence. No calls, no texts, no happy birthday Haley from anyone. I checked my phone 3 times before accepting the truth. They'd forgotten, or worse, they hadn't forgotten. They just didn't care. By noon, I gave up waiting. I opened Instagram instead. Mistake. Harper's story was already live, dozens of slides, a massive backyard tent strung with fairy lights, a 3-tiered cake with Happy 25th Harper in gold lettering. 200 guests, easy, designer dress, professional photographer. Mom's post came next. So proud of my beautiful daughter Harper, 25 years of pure blessing, #proud mom, #birthday queen. I scrolled through every photo. I wasn't in any of them. Not even mentioned. The caption said, surrounded by everyone I love. And I, her twin sister, born 7 minutes after her, wasn't there. I sat on my kitchen floor for a while, just breathing, trying not to cry. Then I saw the pink box, the cupcakes. I pulled one out, stuck a single candle in it, lit it with a shaking hand. "Happy birthday to me," I whispered. The flame flickered. I blew it out. No one clapped. No one sang. No one knew. I peeled back the wrapper, took a bite, vanilla, sweet, a hint of something nutty underneath. I stopped chewing. Nutty? I looked at the cupcake. Really looked. The frosting was slightly grainy. The texture was wrong. My throat started to itch. No, 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 no. I spit out what I could, but it was too late. The familiar tightness was already spreading. My lips tingled. My tongue swelled. Almond flour. The cupcakes were made with almond flour. 10 minutes later, I couldn't breathe. I crawled to my purse. EpiPen. I needed my EpiPen. My hands tore through the bag. Wallet, keys, chapstick, old receipts, empty case. I'd forgotten to refill my prescription. Again. The room was spinning now, my airway closing like a fist. Each breath a battle I was losing. Phone. Where was my phone? I found it on the counter, knocked it to the floor, grabbed it. 3 numbers. That's all I had to dial. 911, what's your emergency? Allergic reaction, my voice was a rasp. Anaphylaxis, can't breathe. Help is on the way, ma'am. Can you tell me your address? I choked out my street, my apartment number. Stay on the line. Is there anyone with you? No. The word barely came out. I'm alone. Emergency contacts? Someone we should call? I laughed. It came out as a wheeze. I don't have any. A pause. Then the operator's voice changed, confused. Ma'am, we actually received a call about you already, just 2 minutes before yours. From a Harper Parsons? The room tilted. What? She said you have a history of exaggerating allergic reactions, that you do this for attention. She told us not to take it too seriously. I couldn't process it, couldn't think. Harper called 911, before I did, to tell them I was faking. How did she know I'd have a reaction tonight? How did she know? The question echoed in my darkening mind as I collapsed onto the kitchen floor. The cupcake lay next to me, half-eaten, innocent-looking. The last thing I heard before blacking out was sirens. They were coming. But Harper had tried to make sure they wouldn't rush. My own sister had tried to let me die. I woke up in the ambulance. Fluorescent lights, oxygen mask, a sharp sting in my thigh where someone had jabbed an EpiPen. There she is. A man's face came into focus. Brown eyes, kind but serious. Name tag, Daniel Mitchell, paramedic. You gave us a scare. I tried to speak. The mask muffled everything. Easy, he said. You're stable now. We're almost at the hospital. I nodded, closed my eyes. But Daniel wasn't done. Miss Parsons, I need to ask you something. His voice dropped lower. Your sister Harper called 911 about 15 minutes before you did. My eyes snapped open. She said you have a history of faking allergic reactions for attention, said we shouldn't take it too seriously, that you're dramatic. I pulled the mask down. That's not true. I know. He held up a medical chart. Your vitals don't lie. Oxygen at 82% when we found you. Throat nearly closed. You were dying for real. I stared at him. I've been doing this job for 8 years, Daniel continued. I know when someone's faking, and I know when someone's trying to cover something up. He was quiet for a moment, then. My younger sister had a similar situation. Different circumstances, but family members who tried to hurt her and make her look crazy. She didn't survive. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't help her in time, he said. But maybe I can help you, if you want. Cover what up? He didn't answer directly, just studied me with those careful eyes. How did your sister know you'd have a reaction tonight? Did you tell her you were eating something? I shook my head slowly. She sent me cupcakes, I whispered. For my birthday. Daniel's expression shifted. Something dark passed behind his eyes. I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to think carefully. Did your sister know about your almond allergy? I didn't have to think. She's known since we were 7. Daniel said nothing, but his silence said everything. The hospital room was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that presses against your ears and reminds you how alone you really are. I'd been here for 6 hours. No visitors, no calls. My family was probably still at Harper's party, toasting to her health, her success, her everything. Meanwhile, I'd almost died on my kitchen floor. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, like I almost ignored the hospital's call about Grandma. Something told me to answer this time. Miss Haley Parsons? A man's voice, professional, measured. Yes? My name is Richard Bennett. I'm your grandmother's attorney. I sat up too fast, winced at the IV tugging my arm. Mr. Bennett? From Grandma's letter? A pause. She told you about me? She gave me a letter 3 years ago, said you'd find me when the time came. The time has come. His voice was gentle but urgent. I heard about your hospitalization through a contact at Mercy General. Your grandmother is there too, I understand. Miss Parsons, we need to talk. Tonight, if possible. I'm not exactly in a position to go anywhere. I'll come to you. I have something. A document your grandmother prepared before her stroke. She asked me to deliver it personally if anything happened to her. He paused. Or to you. My heart hammered. What kind of document? I'd rather explain in person. May I come by in the morning? I agreed. What else could I do? After hanging up, I pulled Grandma's letter from my purse. I always kept it with me, and read it again. Trust Mr. Bennett. He knows the truth. Tomorrow, I'd finally find out what that truth was. But that night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how my own sister could have done this. And more terrifying, what she might do next. I want to pause here for a moment. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, if you've ever been the one they forgot to invite, the one they talked about instead of talked to, I see you. This story isn't over. The truth is about to come out in a way Harper never expected. If this is resonating with you, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Have you ever discovered a family secret that changed everything? Now, back to what happened next. Harper arrived at 9 a.m. the next morning. She swept into my room with a bouquet of white lilies. Ironic, since those are funeral flowers, and tears already streaming down her face. Oh my God, Haley! She rushed to my bedside, grabbing my hand. I was so worried. When I heard you had another reaction, I called 911 immediately. Behind her came Mom, Dad, and 2 aunts I barely recognized. The performance had begun. We were so scared, Mom said, dabbing at eyes that weren't wet. Thank God Harper thought to call. Aunt Patricia, Mom's sister, patted Harper's shoulder. You're such a good sister, always looking out for her. I watched them, all of them. The concerned faces, the sympathetic head tilts. Not one of them had texted me on my birthday. She's always been dramatic about her allergies, Mom told the nurse who came to check my vitals. Ever since she was a child. We've tried to help her manage, but it's a medical condition, the nurse said flatly. She nearly died. Mom waved a hand. Yes, well, she's fine now. Harper squeezed my hand. We tried to include you at the party, Haley. I told Mom you should come. But you said you felt too sick, remember? I hadn't said anything. Because no one had invited me. Aunt Patricia leaned in. Honey, you need to take better care of yourself. You can't keep scaring the family like this. I wanted to scream, to throw the flowers in Harper's face, to ask why she called 911 to say I was faking before I even knew I needed help. But I didn't, not yet. Instead, I said, thank you all for coming. And I watched Harper's smile flicker, just for a second, when she realized I wasn't going to play along. They left after an hour, duty fulfilled, consciences cleared. I waited until the hallway was empty. Then I texted Daniel. He'd given me his number before I was admitted, said to reach out if I remembered anything important. I remembered something all right. He arrived during his lunch break, still in uniform. You look better, he said, pulling a chair close. I need to show you something. I handed him my phone, the photo I'd taken of the cupcakes before eating them. Sweet Beginnings Bakery, he read from the label. Nice place. My sister orders from there. Do they use almond flour? No, that's their thing. They're a nut-free bakery. My niece has allergies. That's why we go there. My stomach dropped. Then these cupcakes didn't come from Sweet Beginnings. Daniel's expression hardened. He pulled out his own phone, made a call. Hey, Martinez. I need a favor. Can you check if there's still a cupcake box and evidence from last night's call? The Parsons apartment. A pause. He nodded. Bring it to Mercy General, and look at the label carefully. 20 minutes later, Martinez arrived with an evidence bag. Inside was the pink box. Daniel pointed at the corner of the label. See this? The edges are peeling. There's another label underneath. He put on gloves, carefully lifted the top sticker. Beneath it, Harvest Moon Bakery, specialty, almond flour treats. Someone bought these from a bakery that specializes in almond products, Daniel said slowly. Then put a fake label on top, a label from a nut-free bakery. So I wouldn't check. So I wouldn't suspect. Someone wanted me to eat those cupcakes, someone who knew exactly what would happen, and that someone had signed the card with my sister's name. I needed proof, real proof. Daniel had a friend, Marcus, who worked in digital forensics, the kind of guy who recovered deleted files for divorce cases and fraud investigations. There might be something, I told Marcus over the phone. When we were teenagers, Mom set up a family iCloud to monitor us. I got kicked off when I moved out, but I still remember the password. Mom never changes anything. That's not enough for court evidence, Marcus said. We'd need them to hand over the data voluntarily, or get a warrant. What if I still have access? What if I was never technically removed, just forgotten? A pause. If you can log in with your own credentials, and the shared data is still there, that's your data too, legally gray, but admissible if we document the chain of custody properly. I tried the old password. It worked. Mom's arrogance had finally backfired. Marcus said he'd look into it. No promises. 3 days passed. I was discharged from the hospital but didn't go home. I couldn't. Not to that apartment with its memories of cupcakes and near death. Instead, I stayed at a motel off the highway, paid cash, told no one. On day 4, Marcus called. You need to see this. I drove to his office, a cramped room above a dry cleaner's. He turned his laptop toward me, text messages, hundreds of them, between Harper and Mom. I started from a week before my birthday. Harper, the cupcakes are ready, made sure they used almond flour. Mom, good. If she eats them, she'll have a reaction. She never refills her EpiPen on time. My hands went numb. Harper, and if she calls 911, I'll call first. Tell them she's dramatic. They won't rush. Mom, smart. Grandma's will can't go to her if she's incapacitated or dead. I couldn't breathe. Marcus was watching me carefully. There's more, timestamps, metadata, everything checks out. This isn't fabricated. I scrolled further. Mom, once Mother's gone, we'll challenge any will that names Haley, with her mental health history. Harper, what mental health history? Mom, the one we'll create, unstable, self-harming, faking illnesses. Who would believe her over us? I kept scrolling, found more. Harper, how will I know when she eats them? Mom. I had a camera installed in her building's hallway last month. Maintenance cover. We'll see when she brings the box inside and when her lights go out. Harper. And then I call 911? Mom. Wait 20 minutes after lights out. She'll have eaten by then. Call before she does. Plant the seed that she's dramatic. They'd been watching me. My own mother had installed a camera to watch me die. One more message caught my eye. Harper. Should I sign the card? Mom. Of course. If she survives, you're the loving sister who sent birthday treats. If she doesn't, you're the grieving twin who tried to reconnect before it was too late. Either way, you win. Harper. Genius. I closed the laptop. They calculated my death like a budget spreadsheet. Mr. Bennett's office was nothing like I expected. No mahogany, no leather chairs. Just a modest space above a bookstore, cluttered with files and smelling faintly of coffee. He was in his 60s. Silver hair, kind eyes, a handshake that felt like a promise. Your grandmother spoke about you often, he said, gesturing for me to sit. She was so proud of you. I almost lost it right there. He slid a manila envelope across the desk, thick, official, my name written in Grandma's shaky handwriting. She prepared this 2 years ago, he explained, after Thanksgiving 2023. She called me the next morning, insisted I come immediately. What happened at Thanksgiving? Mr. Bennett hesitated. She overheard something, a conversation between your mother and sister. It disturbed her deeply. I opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside, a legal document. Last will and testament of Eleanor Grace Whitmore. I scanned the pages, legal language, formal clauses, and then, I hereby leave my primary residence at 47 Maple Drive, valued at approximately $1.2 million, to my granddaughter, Haley Ann Parsons. I further leave my savings account, containing approximately $300,000, to Haley Ann Parsons. I looked up. This can't be right. It's right. Mr. Bennett's voice was firm. Your grandmother changed her will after that Thanksgiving. She told me she'd heard your mother say, and I quote, "Once I'm gone, we'll make sure Haley doesn't get a penny. She's weak. She won't fight." My vision blurred with tears. There was a letter tucked behind the will. I recognized Grandma's handwriting. My dearest Haley, I'm sorry I couldn't protect you more, but this is my way of making sure you have a future, no matter what they do. You are loved. Never forget that. She knew. She'd always known. Mr. Bennett refilled his coffee, offered me some. I couldn't hold a cup without shaking. We can handle this quietly, he said. File the will, transfer the assets, let the legal system run its course. You never have to see them again. I thought about it, really thought about it, the quiet option, the safe option. Walk away with Grandma's house and money and pretend my mother and sister didn't try to kill me. But then what? They'd still have their story. Poor dramatic Haley, always exaggerating. They'd tell the aunts, the uncles, the cousins. They'd reshape history until I was the villain. And worse, they'd never answer for it. No, I said. Mr. Bennett raised an eyebrow. They need to answer for what they did. Not just to me, to everyone they lied to. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. What do you have in mind? A family meeting. At the hospital. In Grandma's room. She's still in a coma. Not exactly. I pulled out my phone, showed him the text from Grandma's neurologist that morning. Dr. Patel says her brain activity has increased significantly over the past 3 days. She's responding to voices, squeezing hands when asked. He thinks she might be in what they call a minimally conscious state, aware but unable to respond fully. That's remarkable progress. He said strong emotional stimulation sometimes helps patients emerge, family gatherings, familiar voices. I met his eyes. I want her to hear the truth, even if she can't respond. And if there's any chance she wakes up during this, I want her to see who her real family is. I leaned forward. I want her to know the truth was told, even if she can't respond. And I want everyone to witness it. Mr. Bennett considered this. It would need to be handled carefully. Legally, medically. Can you arrange it? I can. That evening I called Harper. There's a family meeting at the hospital tomorrow, I said. Mr. Bennett will be there. It's about Grandma's will. Silence on the line. 1 second, 2, then. Fine, I'll be there. She tried to sound casual, but I heard the tremor underneath. She didn't know what I had. She didn't know what was coming. Good. Grandma's hospital room had never felt so small. 12 people crammed inside. 3 aunts, 2 uncles, 5 cousins. Dad in the corner, silent as always. And in the center, Mom and Harper, dressed in black like they were already at a funeral. Grandma lay still in her bed. Monitors beeped their steady rhythm, but faster than before, I noticed. The nurse had told me her vitals had been elevated all morning, like she knew something was happening. When I walked in and said, "I'm here, Grandma," her hand twitched, just slightly, but I saw it. She was fighting her way back to us. I took my position by the window, invisible, as usual. That was fine. I wouldn't be invisible for long. Mr. Bennett stood at the foot of Grandma's bed, leather briefcase at his side. Mom spoke first. "Thank you all for coming. As you know, Mother's condition is critical. Harper, as medical proxy, will be making decisions about her care moving forward." Harper nodded gravely, the perfect picture of a responsible granddaughter. "We should also discuss her estate," Mom continued, "to ensure a smooth transition when the time comes." Uncle Robert, Mom's brother, shifted uncomfortably. "Victoria, Eleanor isn't gone yet." "I know that. I'm simply being practical." Mr. Bennett cleared his throat. "Actually," he said, "I called this meeting." The room went still. "I'm Eleanor's attorney. I've handled her legal affairs for 23 years. He pulled a thick envelope from his briefcase. "And there's been a development that changes everything." Mom's composure cracked, just a hairline fracture. "What development?" "Your mother left specific instructions. A will, prepared 2 years ago, with explicit conditions for how it should be read." Harper's voice was too bright. "We're aware of Mother's will. Harper and I are the primary beneficiaries." "You're aware of a will," Mr. Bennett corrected. "But not this one." The room went quiet. For the first time in my life, I wasn't invisible. Everyone was looking at the envelope in his hands. Mr. Bennett opened the envelope slowly, deliberately. "I, Eleanor Grace Whitmore, being of sound mind, do hereby revoke all previous wills and codicils." Mom's face went pale. He continued, "I leave my primary residence at 47 Maple Drive to my granddaughter, Haley Ann Parsons. I leave my savings account to Haley Ann Parsons." Harper shot to her feet. "That's impossible!" "Miss Parsons, please sit down." "This is fraud." Harper's voice cracked. "Haley manipulated her. Grandma would never—" "The will was signed and notarized 2 years ago." Mr. Bennett's tone didn't waver. "It has been authenticated by 2 independent experts. It is legally binding." I glanced at Dad. He was staring at the will, face pale. "You knew," he whispered. "Not to me, to Mom." "You told me Eleanor changed her will to include Harper equally. You lied." Mom's eyes flashed. "Greg, not now." "All these years, all these lies," his voice cracked. "What else don't I know?" Mom found her voice. Mother was clearly confused. She had moments of dementia. She underwent a cognitive evaluation 1 month before signing. The results are attached. Her mind was perfectly sound. Aunt Patricia looked between Mom and me. "Victoria, did you know about this?" "Of course not. This is obviously some kind of mistake." Cousin James spoke up. "Wait, why would Grandma leave everything to Haley? I thought Victoria and Harper were handling her affairs." "An excellent question." Mr. Bennett pulled out a second document. "Your grandmother included a letter explaining her decision. She asked that it be read aloud to the family." "No," Mom's voice was sharp. "That won't be necessary." "I'm afraid it is." Mr. Bennett looked at me. "Miss Parsons, your grandmother wanted you to decide." Every eye in the room turned to me. I stood by the window, hands steady for the first time in days. "Read it," I said. Harper looked at Mom. Something passed between them, panic, desperation, guilt. All 3, maybe. Mom's composure cracked completely. "Mr. Bennett, I really must insist." "The letter, please," I said again. And the room fell silent. Mr. Bennett unfolded Grandma's letter. The paper trembled slightly in his hands. Thanksgiving 2023, he began reading. I overheard my daughter Victoria tell Harper, "Once I'm gone, we'll make sure Haley doesn't get a penny. She's weak. She won't fight." Gasps rippled through the room. He continued, "That day I knew I had to protect my Haley. She is the only one who visits me because she loves me, not because she wants something." Mom was shaking her head. Mother was confused. She misheard. "I am not confused." Mr. Bennett's voice grew stronger, channeling Grandma's words. "Victoria has spent 30 years resenting Haley because Haley reminds me of my beloved husband. Harper has spent her life learning cruelty from her mother. I watched. I stayed silent. I was a coward. Tears streamed down my face. But I won't be silent anymore. Haley deserves better than the family she was born into. So I'm giving her a chance at a real life. I pray she uses it well." Mr. Bennett lowered the letter. Uncle Robert turned to Mom. "Victoria, is this true?" "Of course not. Mother was senile." "She wasn't senile." I stepped forward. "And she wasn't wrong." All eyes on me now. "You want to know why Grandma cut you out? Because she knew what you're capable of." I pulled out my phone. "And 2 weeks ago, I found out too." Harper's face went white. "What is that?" "Text messages. Between you and Mom. Planning to send me cupcakes made with almond flour. Planning to call 911 before I did to tell them I was faking." "Those are fake," Harper screamed. "They've been authenticated by a digital forensics expert. Timestamps, metadata, everything." Aunt Patricia's hand flew to her mouth. "You tried to kill your own sister?" The room erupted. This is the moment everything changes. The texts are out, the family knows, and Harper and Victoria have nowhere left to hide. If you're still with me, if this story has you on the edge of your seat, drop a comment and tell me, do you think they deserve what's coming? And don't forget to hit that like button so more people can see this. Now, let's see how the family reacts. I read the texts out loud. Every word. "The cupcakes are ready. Made sure they used almond flour. If she eats them, she'll have a reaction. She never refills her EpiPen on time. And if she calls 911, I'll call first. Tell them she's dramatic. They won't rush." The room was chaos. Cousins whispering, aunts crying. Uncle Robert had his hand over his mouth like he might be sick. Harper tried one last time. "Those messages are fake. She edited them." I stayed calm. "The messages are backed up on the family iCloud. Mr. Bennett has verified them with a certified forensics expert. The timestamps match. The metadata is intact. The chain of custody is documented." "She's lying." "I'm not asking you to believe me." I looked around the room, at every shocked face. "I'm asking you to believe the evidence." Mom hadn't moved, hadn't spoken since the texts were read. Her perfectly styled hair seemed wrong now, obscene against the context of what she'd done. Aunt Patricia walked toward me. She took my hands in hers. "Haley," she whispered, "I'm so sorry. I believed them. For years, I believed everything they said about you." I nodded, couldn't speak. Uncle Robert crossed the room to stand beside me. "I defended you for 20 years, Victoria. I told everyone Haley was exaggerating. I believed you." Mom finally looked up. "Robert, please." "Enough." His voice broke. "I'm done." Harper was still crying, but the tears looked different now. Not grief, not remorse, fear. She grabbed Mom's arm. "We should go." They started toward the door, and then, a voice, weak, barely there, but unmistakable. "Victoria!" Everyone froze. Grandma's eyes were open. The room went absolutely still. Grandma's monitors beeped faster. A nurse rushed in, checked her vitals, then stepped back in shock. "She's awake," the nurse breathed. "She's actually awake." Grandma's eyes moved slowly around the room, landed on Mom, stayed there. "Mother?" Victoria's voice cracked. "Mother, you're awake. Let me explain. I heard." Grandma's voice was barely a whisper. But in that silent room, it thundered. "I heard everything." Mom stepped closer. "You don't understand. Haley has been manipulating you for years. She's not who you think." "Stop." One word. Grandma said one word, and Victoria froze mid-step. "I protected you your whole life." Grandma's chest rose and fell with effort. "I excused your jealousy, Your cruelty. I told myself you'd grow out of it. Mom. But trying to hurt my Haley? Grandma closed her eyes for a moment. When they opened, they were hard as steel. You are no longer my daughter. Victoria made a sound, something between a sob and a scream. Harper rushed forward. Grandma, please, we didn't mean. I held you when you were born. Grandma's gaze shifted to Harper. I thought you had your grandfather's kindness. I prayed you wouldn't become like your mother. A single tear rolled down her weathered cheek. I was wrong. Harper backed away, face crumbling. Grandma turned her head. Found me. Come here, sweetheart. I walked to her bedside on shaking legs, took her hand, warm this time, alive. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you sooner, she whispered, but now you protect yourself. You don't need them. I know, Grandma. Promise me. I promise. Behind me, I heard the door open. Close. Victoria and Harper were gone, but their damage wasn't. Not yet. The room slowly emptied after that. Aunts and uncles left in pairs, murmuring apologies as they passed me. Cousin James squeezed my shoulder. Cousin Michelle hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe, but in a good way this time. Dad lingered by the door. Haley. His voice was small, defeated. I'm sorry. I looked at him. Really looked. For the first time in years. The man who never defended me, never spoke up, never once chose me over his wife's cruelty. I know you are. I should have. Yes, you should have. I didn't say it with anger, just truth. But you didn't. He nodded. Couldn't meet my eyes. I'm filing for divorce, he said quietly. Whatever she did, whatever they did, I can't. He trailed off. That's between you and her. He left without another word. The nurse came back to check on Grandma, said she needed rest. The excitement had been too much. I sat beside her bed, holding her hand, watching her drift back to sleep. But this sleep was different. Healing, not hiding. She'll need rehabilitation, the doctor told me later. Speech therapy, physical therapy. It'll be a long road. I'll be here. I can see that. He smiled, the first genuine kindness I'd felt from a stranger in weeks. She's lucky to have you. Lucky. Funny word. I didn't feel lucky. I felt hollowed out, exhausted, like I'd climbed a mountain only to find another one waiting. But also, and this was new, I felt free. No more pretending, no more smiling through cruelty, no more hoping they'd love me if I just tried harder. They'd shown me exactly who they were, and for the first time in my life, I believed them. 2 weeks later, the consequences arrived. Detective Maria Santos from the Millbrook Police Department called me on a Tuesday. Miss Parsons, based on the evidence you provided, the text messages, the forensics report, the medical records, we're pressing charges against Harper Parsons for reckless endangerment with intent to cause bodily harm. I gripped my phone tighter. And my mother? Victoria Parsons is being charged as an accessory. She helped plan the attack and tried to interfere with emergency response. Attack. That's what it was. An attack by my own family. What happens now? They'll be arraigned next week. Given the evidence, the DA is confident we'll get convictions. Harper's looking at 1 to 5 years. Your mother, similar charges. I thanked her, hung up, sat in silence for a long time. The news spread fast. Harper's company, a prestigious marketing firm downtown, saw the story on the local news. She was terminated within 48 hours. The official reason was conduct unbecoming of a company representative. The real reason was nobody wanted a murderer in training managing their brand. Victoria's country club friends stopped calling. The charity boards she sat on quietly removed her name. Invitations dried up. Lunch dates were canceled with vague excuses. And Dad, quiet, passive Dad, filed for divorce. He moved into a hotel, then an apartment. Then slowly he started calling me. I don't expect forgiveness, he said during one call. I know I failed you. You did. I just want you to know, I see it now, what they did, what I let them do. Seeing isn't the same as stopping. No, his voice cracked. It isn't. I didn't say I forgave him. I wasn't sure I ever would. But I didn't hang up either. Progress, I guess. slow and uncertain, like everything else. The first time I walked into Grandma's house as its owner, I cried. Not sad tears, not angry tears, something else entirely, relief maybe, or disbelief. The house at 47 Maple Drive was a Victorian revival, white siding, blue shutters, a wraparound porch where Grandma used to drink sweet tea and watch the sunset. I'd spent every summer here as a kid, back when Mom tolerated me, before Harper became her golden child and I became the ghost. I walked through each room slowly. The kitchen still smelled like lemon cookies. The living room still had Grandpa's chair by the window, untouched since he died 15 years ago. Upstairs in Grandma's bedroom, I found a shoebox in the closet. Inside, every drawing I'd ever made her, every poem I'd written, every birthday card since I was 5. She'd kept everything. I sat on her bed and sobbed until I couldn't breathe. Daniel came by that evening. We'd been talking more since the hospital. He'd become something I didn't expect, a friend, maybe more eventually, but no rush. "How does it feel?" he asked. "Having a place of your own?" I looked around the porch at the swing where Grandma and I had spent countless hours. "Like I finally belong somewhere." He smiled. Didn't say anything else. Didn't need to. Later that night, I hung a photo on the living room wall. Grandma and me at her 75th birthday party, the only photo where we're both laughing. I traced her face with my finger. "I'll take care of it," I whispered. "I promise." Outside, the sun set over Maple Drive, golden light through old windows, the smell of wood and memory and home. For the first time in 25 years, I wasn't an afterthought. I was exactly where I was meant to be. The text from Harper came a month later. "Can we talk? I want to apologize, please." I stared at my phone for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it, block her number, pretend she didn't exist. But another part, the part that still remembered sharing a womb with her, sharing birthdays, sharing a face, that part needed to say something. I typed carefully, edited 3 times, then hit send. "Harper, I don't hate you. Hate takes energy I don't want to waste. But I don't trust you. And I don't want you in my life. This isn't revenge. This is a boundary. Please respect it." Then I blocked her number. Mom never reached out. I think she was too proud. Or maybe her lawyers told her not to. Either way, the silence was a gift. Dad called once a week. We talked about nothing important. The weather, his new apartment, how Grandma was doing in rehab. Small steps towards something that might never fully heal. "I should have fought for you," he said one night. "Every time they pushed you aside, I should have said something." "Yes, you should have." "I was a coward." "You were," I paused. "But at least you're honest about it now." Grandma was making progress. Her speech was coming back, along with her stubbornness. She'd be in the rehabilitation center for a few more months, but the doctors were optimistic. "You're stronger than they ever gave you credit for," she told me during my last visit. "I always knew. I learned it from you." She squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of you, Haley. Not for getting the house, not for the money, for standing up, for setting boundaries." "Yes," she smiled. "That's the hardest thing of all." I was finally learning how. I'm sitting on the porch of Grandma's house, my house now, watching the sun go down. It's been 3 months since my birthday. 3 months since I almost died alone on my kitchen floor. 3 months since I discovered what my family was truly capable of. Harper's trial is next month. Mom's is the week after. I'll have to testify. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm not afraid either. My birthday is coming up again. 26 this year. I'm throwing a party. A small one. Daniel will be there. A few friends from the library. Aunt Patricia and Uncle Robert, who've become surprisingly supportive. And of course, Grandma, she insists on coming, Walker and all. "You can't keep me away," she said. "I missed too many of your birthdays already." It won't be 200 people. There won't be professional photographers or a 3-tiered cake, but everyone who comes will actually want to be there. That's the difference. My phone buzzes. Daniel's name on the screen. "Hey, I know it's early, but want to grab dinner sometime? As friends. Or more. Whatever you're comfortable with." I smile. For the first time in a long time, it doesn't hurt. I type back. "Dinner sounds perfect." Then I set down my phone and watched the last light fade over Maple Drive. Here's what I learned. Family isn't just blood. It's who shows up when you're dying on your kitchen floor. It's who fights for you when you can't fight for yourself. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a life so good, they become irrelevant. I'm not invisible anymore. I'm not the afterthought, the difficult one, the ghost. I'm Haley. And I'm finally home. A few things I learned from this journey, and I hope you take them with you. 1. Your needs are not drama. Your allergies are not inconvenience. Anyone who makes you feel small for protecting yourself isn't protecting you. 2. The people who love you don't forget your birthday. They don't need an invitation to show up. 3. Sometimes the quietest person in the room has the loudest truth. You don't need to scream to be heard. You just need evidence and the courage to speak. If this story moved you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had to set boundaries with toxic family? Have you ever discovered who your real people are? And if you're new here, hit subscribe. I post stories like this every week. There's another one waiting for you in the description below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. See you next time.